Hola mis vikingos, estamos en el directo 73 de Jugando a Cosas y estamos en el segundo capítulo de Vampyr Historia. Así que bueno, vamos a continuar, que lo dejemos ahí en el hospital. Espera un momento que tengo que poner el no molestar. Ahí estamos. A ver. Vampire. Tenía, tenía muchas ganas de volver a jugar, de verdad. Tenía muchas ganas. A ver, vale, bien. Vale, sí. Vale, muy bien. Busca tu despacho, la segunda planta. A ver, investigación local. El mercader, muy bien. Creo. A ver. Juego. Ese es controles. Usar objeto, cambiar de. Usar objeto, ¿vale? Andar, correr, sentidos. Cámara, fijar objetivo. Ataque de mano izquierda. Esquivar. Vale. Uy. Venga, va. Veamos, a ver, veamos. Ah, ya me acuerdo que hicimos esta
Thelma
cosa.
Howcroft said she was being watched by vampire hunters. Where are they?
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed.
Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir. Especially when he was supposedly dead.
A colleague. Are you a doctor too?
Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Chadana. Now, I'm just Mr. Chadana, pawnbroker and humble guardian of this morgue.
What do you mean, you used to be a doctor? Was your license revoked?
No, sir. It is just that I like to be precise. I run a little pawn shop while taking care of the dead. But I used to be a real doctor.
Venga, va. A ver. Sano. Vale, muy bien. A ver.
Do you work
Venga,
here alone?
Yes, very easy work, sir. All I have to do is watch a few bodies. The situation was very different when the main morgue was still open.
Why do you have to watch these bodies?
Because these poor fellows have no names. We keep them in case someone comes looking for the missing. Sadly, very rarely happens.
Vaya.
Why close the hospital's main morgue?
It was for sanitary reasons after the beginning of the epidemic. Cadavers had rave.
Vale, atrás. Esto.
Are you afraid or uneasy being surrounded by so many corpses?
Why should I? These bodies are empty vessels. Flesh left to decay. Poof. No soul anymore. All gone.
An interesting point of view. And quite an exotic one, too. Most people fear, or at least have a respect, for dead flesh.
Sir, as a medic during the war, I learned to face my death and the death of others. It's the pain we have to tame, not death itself.
Nueva pista disponible. Ahí estamos.
How did you get this job?
After I left the army, I worked as an undertaker down by the docks. A dangerous place with many an unpleasant business there. Milton Hooks helped me get a job here.
Have we met before?
I don't think so, sir. Why?
When we first talked, you said you were glad to meet me since I was reported dead.
Funny story, sir. Your sister came here a few nights ago.
Oh, oh.
You were missing, and she was looking for your body. She must be very relieved now.
Vale, subir en Londres, ya le hemos preguntado de todo.
Are you afraid or uneasy
No.
being surrounded by
¿Por
so
qué le voy a
many
preguntar lo
corpses?
mismo? Sí,
Why
imbécil,
should
perdona.
These
Joder.
bodies are empty vessels.
Hay que ser imbécil, tío.
Flesh left to decay. Poof. No soul anymore. All gone.
No, a ver. Preguntas personales.
A pawnbroker? I expect you get
All kind of people. For I sell all kind of goods.
Who comes here to trade with you? It's very unhygienic, even unsafe. Diseases can spread. For the customers, for the hospital.
I'm very cautious, sir. I've been a doctor, remember? And all my clients are good people. In fact, I think I only know good people.
Pues qué guay.
What kind of goods?
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to buy things. So I trade, I exchange. Some people sell, some others buy. I like to help.
Vale, muy bien. Esto.
Since you're not afraid of dying, do you believe in life after death, Rakesh?
No, I believe we must do all the good we can while alive. For our time is short, and the obstacles are endless.
Do you think you would enjoy immortality as a concept?
I don't think so. Don't mistake me. I love life, and I'd like to live a long life. But everything has to decay, sir. Even goodwill.
Do you really believe goodwill cannot last?
As I said, sir, everything decays. If I was to never die, goodness, I would be bored or worse. And I like to be helpful, sir.
Quite depressing, wouldn't you say?
Yes, but the good news is, we'll all die before losing our humanity, sir.
So you're ready to die?
No, I'm not. I don't fear death, for I won't see it. What troubles me is the pain my death will inflict to those I know.
You're a wise man, Mr. Chidana.
No, Dr. Reed. I am a foolish man. But I like to think otherwise.
Ya está. Ya está. Solo queda el de hagamos un trato.
Please show me what you have to sell.
Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure they can be useful.
Muy bien. Perfecto. No, aún no voy a descansar. ¿Esto qué es? A ver. Veamos. Vale, muy bien. Perfecto.
It's locked, all right.
Cold medical bench, sir. I understand you must be very angry about this unfair situation. I managed to arrange to have you buried in the same mass grave as your wife. I hope that
A ver, de momento por aquí no hay nada más, ¿no? A ver qué hay... A ver. Vale. Chalines. Muy bien. Vamos por aquí. A ver, hablamos.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swans's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
Hola, 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 hola. Joder, puta, madre mía.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
Vale, el mando se me ha apagado solo, muy bien.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital, instead of a burden.
Muy bien.
If you have a problem with me,
Vete,
Dr. Ackroyd,
vete, que había,
please feel free to tell me.
que había
Dr.
más
Swansea
opciones.
has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the
ver, que lo
epidemic is
mismo, ahora muy
already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to
Ay,
be
qué
sure
tuta
that
soy,
you will be
tío.
of help to this hospital.
Haciendo las mismas
instead of a
conversaciones, tío.
burden.
Ay. Venga.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Ya he vuelta, a ver. Preguntas personales.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
Venga, hombre.
This is ridiculous. My blood transfusion technique saved many lives, and you know it.
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people like you. You avoid this kind of accusation instead of facing reality.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd.
Vale, muy bien. Vale, ya está.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
A ver,
What can I
venga.
do for you, Doctor?
Ajá, vale.
Thank you, Nurse Crane. Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed. Fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
Vale. Sobre el
What can you
hospital.
tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
¿Necesita
Do you
ayuda?
need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time.
Hay una investigación. Faltan. Vale, muy bien. A ver, vemos. Faltan ingredientes, superada. Uf. Al igual que en espía de Telma. Hostia, que aquí tenía un montón de cosas por hacer. Ajá. Vale, muy bien. Estoy usando muy bien. Perfecto, ¿no? Perfecto. Venga. Atrás. Este.
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work?
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of jealousy and pride?
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
Vale, muy bien. Vale.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him, or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Ole.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Aykroyd's behavior, a man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones, and flesh.
Vale, nada más. Nada más. Y nada más.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
My sweet girl. Treats me like a book. I never could keep anything from her.
Alright.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable. And your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies. Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Vale, pues ya no hay nada más que hablar con él. Vale, muy bien. Espérate a ver. No. Ya está, a ver, preguntas personales.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick. Unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Muy bien.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army. Building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
A ver.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is My Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
Vale, muy bien. No hay nada más, ni no nada más.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Con esta ya he hablado. Con este también ya he hablado. A ver. A
I'm
ver.
quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
A ver. No, 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 no. Esto es.
Tell me, Waverly, what do you think of Dr. Strickland's enthusiasm for his experimental research?
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory. Now that, sir, is unethical.
Are you thinking about something in particular?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure, but my young colleague obviously disagrees.
Why do you wish to lead this surgery?
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven procedure.
I really hope you're right about this, Dr. Ackroyd. I'm trusting your judgment on this.
I'm not the kind of man who runs away from his responsibilities, Dr. Reed. There is no need for you to be looking over my shoulder.
And are you not afraid that your rivalry with Strickland may be blinding you?
Rivalry? I guess you could call it that. But I will never be childish enough to let my personal feelings affect my judgment.
Perfecto. Perfecto. No hay nada nuevo. Y ya estaría. Ya sí, ya estaría.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
A ver, vamos a ver. A ver. La caída de la sangre en los océanos se ve afectada. Vale, muy bien. A ver. Hostia, mía, aquí
Good
para hablar hay
evening.
reto tú.
I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No,
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes,
Y no.
and no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
A ver, déjale de
I'll let you
contar.
get some rest then.
Good evening, sir. Doctor,
Good
Vale,
evening,
no.
Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
Esto.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
Ya
How
está.
painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
Vale, está. Vale, preguntas personales. Háblame
Tell me
usted.
about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
Vale, no quiere. Vale, bien.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
I'm all right. Don't waste
Venga.
your time with me.
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
Tanto, a ver, a qué... Uy, no.
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
A ver, a qué se
May I ask
dedican.
if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
Vale, bien. A ver, espera un momento. Vale, atrás.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Háblame desligada.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
Uy, 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 uy.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the
Hola.
situation.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I will not be tolerated in other hospitals.
Madre mía, tú. Madre mía, tío. Puntos personales. Vista requerida. Vaya a ser.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Madre mía, tú. Es flipa y todo, madre mía. Madre mía, tú. A ver. El pilar, ese es el pilar. A ver, voy a hablar con la tía esta.
What can I do for you, Doctor?
No,
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
no. A ver. A ver, por aquí fuera yo no creo que haga más gente, ¿no? No sé.
I'm sorry you ended up on a plain and cold medical bench, sir. I understand you must be very angry about this unfair situation. I managed to arrange to have you buried in the same mass grave as your wife. I hope.
A ver.
But in the circumstances, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Don't waste your time with me.
Vale, estos de aquí están hablando, a ver. No, a ver, sale fuera, a ver. A ver, vamos a ver. Estos se ven aquí. A ver.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
A ver, preguntas personales. Nada. No hay nada nuevo.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Lo que sí tengo que hablar es... A ver. Nada por aquí. Con este creo que no he hablado,
Good evening, sir.
So
No,
it
no,
is
pardon.
true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before, at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
Voy a Londres.
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
It's more than enough. In any case, the personnel of the hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
Háblame de aquí.
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
Tell me more about cherished people, then.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
¿Qué de la gestión?
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah, yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office down again.
Vale, ajá. Háblame de allá. Puntos personales. No tengo ninguna. Ah, ninguna, venga.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
A ver, espera un momento, Vaya soy. A ver qué más hay por aquí. Vale. Pues yo diría ya de ir buscando ya mi despacho.
Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Ah, vale.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
No.
Goodbye,
No.
Dr. Tippett.
Vale, mismo sitio de antes. Nada, pues venga, vamos. Vale, pues vamos al despacho, a ver qué tal. Vamos al despacho, a ver qué tal, ya está, venga. Ah, no, espérate, vamos a hacer... Esto, las investigaciones. A ver. ¿dónde está lo de la investigación social? Ciudadano en peligro, no. No, esto no. Bueno, lo más seguro, la gente que me falta será la segunda planta, lo más seguro. Ah, coño, con el puto cuadrado, hay que ser inútil. Venga, venga, pues vamos. Vamos a hacer estas misiones secundarias.
I cannot enter.
Vale, con este que yo...
Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
How close are you to Miss Horcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of me blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
Vale, pues ya está.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Que yo... que con él no he hablado hoy,
Good
tampoco.
evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, sir, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
Vale, muy bien.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
Muy bien.
What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the Dockers' trade union. The Wet Boot Boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint, not even criminals.
Bueno, muy bien, muy bien. Puntos personales.
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest, and then I can go back to the people who need me.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks, and I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really, but I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
Pues ya estaría, ya estaría.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
Vengamos. Vamos a hablar con el señor este. Vale, venga. Vamos a hacer ya esta cosa, a ver. A ver.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome to the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised, but I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected notoriety.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is the future.
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any bullet from a gun. It's hard, Doctor.
An invisible enemy? Quite a poetic term for a disease, especially from a nurse.
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks have been exhausting. We could all do with a good night's sleep.
Do you think this hospital can survive the epidemic?
We are all volunteers here, and we're trying to hold fast, but how do we beat an invisible killer? Some nurses have already resigned.
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet. Perhaps you could help me.
Brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr. Swansea has a gift for recruiting talent.
Most of them? Is there a problem I should know about, nurse?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill of a colleague.
Is there anyone that stands out?
Well, I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tippett's. He should be a standard for us all here. If only he were younger.
Why should his age be a problem?
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the limits. He just doesn't know when to stop and get some rest.
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know something, please tell me. Anything you say will be held in confidence.
No. I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end, everybody is doing their best.
Why does Dr. Tippett claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it comes to medical practice and knowledge, I really hope he doesn't.
Pues ya estaría.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
A ver. Algo me dice que el nivel de ahí será muy alto y no puede ir, ¿no? Bueno, pues intentarlo y no veo nada. Perfecto. Vale, muy bien, venga, va. A ver qué tal. A ver, esto sigue siendo parte del hospital, ¿no? Sí, ¿no? Sí. Ah, vale, aquí fue a donde fuimos a cogerle la cartera este. A ver. Vamos qué tal, a ver. Pues mira, está usando, madre mía.
This is not a place for you, sir.
¿Tienes enemigos?
There's one of them.
Son enemigos, sí, son enemigos. Vale. Joder, soy imbécil, tío. Se me olvida jugar. Y me van a matar. No comerá, tío. Que soy imbécil. ¡Ay! ¡Hostia! No, pero no. Está, tío, se movía. Como muerto. Vale, muy bien. Lo que pasa cuando llevas un montón sin jugar, que no sabes cómo pelear. ¡Te han derrotado! ¡No! Estaba claro, tío. Estaba claro. Hace mucho que no jugaba. Claro, era... Vale, muy bien, ¿no? A ver. Vale, cuerpo a cuerpo es lo peor que podemos hacer. Vale, muy bien. Contra este... Vale. ¿Dónde vas? No. Pero, a ver. A ver. Ah, vale. ¡No! No. Uy. No, pero... Hostia, que me metí ahí, por favor. No. No, nada, tío. Si es que lo peor que lo puedo hacer, pero hago el bobo, tío. Si es que lo peor es que lo puedo hacer, pero hago el bobo. Mira, primero creo yo que el que tenía que matar primero sería al que es débil con las armas de fuego. Reviví. Joder. A ver, voy a ver en el inventario. Nada, pues da igual, tocará pelear cuerpo a cuerpo. ¡Hijo de puta! ¡Se le da el triángulo! ¡Qué falso! Te apartas, muy bien. No. Hostia, la estamina también la tengo que mirando, Estamina. Perfecto.
It's locked.
Muy bien. La puerta está cerrada, muy bien. No, no. Espérate. Como... necesito ver una cosa. A ver. Ah, entiendo, esto no es. Ser objeto no. A ver. No. Hostia, tío, no. No me acuerdo cómo coño se aturdían a los... a los... a las personas, tío. Joder, tío, porque sangre me hace falta, tú. Ay, me hace falta sangre. A ver. ¿Esto que está plegado de enemigos o qué, tío? Voy a morir. Voy a morir. Necesito aturdir a los enemigos. Y no me acuerdo cómo se hacía. Vete a mierda. ¿Cómo se aturda? No, tío. Te han derrotado. Te han derrotado. Da. ¿Otra vez desde aquí? ¿En serio, tío? A ver. A ver. Acá. Acá. Muy bien, Joel, muy bien. Acá. Ah, y aturdimiento. Pues yo prefiero quitar esto aunque sea muy tocho. Porque aquí me da falta morder. Sí, muy bien, aguadaña de ataque, muy bien, sí, muy bien. A ver, equipar. Bien. A ver. Y aquí podría ponerme el machete. Eso es. Eso es. Exacto. Eso es. Ahora sí, vamos preparados. ¡Opa!
Best turn around if I were you. Sir, step away! Get them weapons!
Joder. Sí, venga, me comes la polla, tío. No te creo, tío. No te puto creo, tío, de verdad. No, es que esto por mi huevos lo voy a hacer. Claro, al de fuego puede hacerle un ataque de sangre, pero claro, si el juego no me lo marca, pues no puedo. Ay. A ver. Vamos a actuar un poco para coger sangre. ¡Epa! ¡Joder de puta! ¡Muerte, muerte, muerte, muerte! Y ahora esquiva. Y ahora te curas. Uy, qué momento ahí, Muerte. Eh. Oh, no. No me queda mina. Toma. Perfecto. Balas bien. Balas bien. Bien. Vale, de sangre tengo al máximo. No, corre. No, pero... Cámbiate, tío. Cúrate. Déjame curarme, hijo puta. Déjame curarme, vale. No. Yo no he acabado contigo. Ven aquí. Yo no he acabado contigo, inútil. Voy a acabar este que me está jodiendo la vida. Ahí está, hombre. No. Muérteme. Te dejo, puta. Voy a comer un poco, madre mía. Por fin, menos mal. En este juego son más difíciles las putas misiones secundarias que las principales, tío. Vale. ¡Toma! ¡Hostia! ¡Hostia! El ataque de sangre, tú. ¡Hostia! Vale. Hostia, que me falta sangre. Puta. Me falta sangre, tío. Nada. A ver, por aquí, a ver. ¿A dónde está? Escucho pasos. Ahí está. ¡Hijo de puta! ¡Muerte! No, corre. No, te falta estamina. Muerte. No, me falta estamina, tú. No. Vale. Te curas. Hijo puta. Me fundo en la estamina siempre, tío. Y... ya está, toma por culo, hostia. Escopeta creo que no tengo de momento. No. Hostia. Bueno, mira, hostia, tío, esta gente tiene más nivel que yo, tío. Pero yo no tengo que entrar. No, que no tengo que entrar. No tengo que entrar. Sí, yo el Tenfe. De nivel 14, tú. Espérate, a ver. Voy a hacer una cosa, a ver. A ver. Espérate, me voy a poner la guadaña. Y aquí ponerme esto, ¿no? Ahí estamos. Bien. Bien. Madre mía, tío. No, a ver. Yo venía a hacer aquí la misión. Ah, vale. Espérate, que para qué se puede pasar. Qué divertido. Hostia puta, tío. No me veo capaz, Oh no. ¡Sangre! ¡Si es un puto jefe! ¡Es un puto jefe! ¡Joder! ¡No! ¡No! Hostia, si es un puto jefe, tócate la polla. Es un puto jefe, tío. No, si ya digo yo que este juego, lo más difícil son las misiones secundarias, de verdad. O sea, las putas investigaciones son lo más difícil, tú. Encima ahí de ataque sombra que de mucho no me he enfrentado. Bueno, mira, por lo menos le he ponido directamente... Hostia, pero no me recuerda me da de sangre, tío. Voy a ir primero por el jefe. No. Si le doy a esquivar, que es falso. Espérate. ¿Yo qué hago aquí con el... ¿Y tú curas? No. Nah, tío. Me cago en la puta. Hostia, tío, esto va a ser difícil, ¿eh? Esto va a ser complicado. Madre mía, tío, o sea, joder. A ver. ¡Toma! La estamina. Te puedes cuidar, y eso si quieres. ¿Dónde está? Hijo de puta, tío. Hostia, tío, muy difícil esto, tío, Es muy difícil, tú. Ah. Madre mía, tío. Ah, qué guay. Tío, tu puta madre. Espérate. Espérate. Amigo. Vale. ¿Cómo? ¿Cuánta vida tenía? Vale. Vale. He descubierto el truco para este jefe, tú. Vale. No, no me quiten mi sangre, tío. No, no. ¡Hijo de puta tú! Voy a morir, voy a morir, voy a morir. ¿Y lo resiste ahora el hijo de puta? No, tío. Ay. Joder. Espérate, voy a curarme primero antes. Y eso, y cómo es que ahora está jugando al Rocket League, tú. Cúrate, 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 cúrate. Cúrate, cúrate. Cúrate, 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 cúrate. Eso es, eso es, eso es. Y ahora te curas. Te curas ahora. Cúrate. No tengo. Joder, puta, tío. Cúrate, cúrate, anda, cúrate. Joder. Ya se he vuelto. Ya está, ¿no? Vale, vale. No, tío, he calculado mal. No te puto creo, tío. Joder. 4. Ay. No, tío. No, tío. Nada, nada. Vale, vale, vale. El truco está en esquivar cuando tocan. Ahí está el truco. A ver. A ver. No, guarda estamina inútil. Guarda estamina. Vale, le he dado, pero me falta estamina. No. No. La estamina, joder, que se me va la mierda. Vale, cúrate. No. crítico, tío, estoy crítico, wow. No, nada, tío. Espera un momento, espera un momento. Este enemigo creo que siempre me ataca por la espalda. Si me pongo la cámara trasera... Ah. Vale, 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 vale. En verdad es fácil, en verdad. Uy, que me voy. A ver. Nada, tío. Hijo de puta ese tío. Vete a la mierda, tío. Hasta mina, siempre se movía, tío. Si le he dado yo antes, qué falso. Qué falsidad de juego, de verdad. Ay. Espera un momento. Espera un momento. Podría primero mejorarme, que tengo bastante experiencia, y luego volver. Pero hay aquí unos enemigos muy guays. Joder. No me voy. Déjame en paz, tío, anda. Déjame en paz que yo me voy, anda. Pues esta mierda, Uy, la venga. Hostia, pero esto está pagado de enemigos, por favor. Ciudadanos, puede ser un ciudadano en apuros. No sobrevive hasta la próxima noche. Ve a ver cómo está. Déjame en paz ya, joder, qué pesadilla de tíos, madre mía. Ay, ahora voy a salvarla, a ver. ¿En serio, tío? Voy a cuidarme, a ver. Hijos de puta. Y me saltan, tío. Ay, a ver. Me siguen hasta aquí los hijos de puta. No, qué mal. Qué mal timing, tío. Y le he esquivado, qué falso. Joder, tío. Y me salta el otro ahora, tío. Hijo de puta, tío. Sáltame. Sáltame. ¿Vas a saltarme? Eso, sáltame. Y me le he dado a esquivar. Me están robando. Oh, toma que me salta, venga. Sáltame, 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 sáltame. Uy, menos mal que quedé ahí un poco. Y justo me salta ahora, hijo de puta. Sáltame. Eso, salta. Sí le he dado. Sí le he dado. No, no tiene estamina. Por fin ya me quita uno, menos mal. Me bloquea el hijo de puta. A ver. ¿19? ¿Dónde me vas, tío? Pero no, tío. No, me ha saltado el hijo de puta. Me van a matar al final, ya verás. Al final me matan, tío. Coño. Joder, qué rabia, tío. Dios. ¿No te ves? Mira. que, tío, de verdad, tío. O sea, vaya mierda, tío. Golpeamos y nos vamos. Golpeamos y nos va... Joder, qué malo he hecho ahí. Joder. Ay, tío, de verdad. Hostia, qué falso, ¿no? A ver. Menos mal que tenemos sangre esta vez. Pero cómo... Vete a la mierda, hombre. No me saltes, hijo de puta. Joder. De verdad, Ay, tío, de verdad. Vale, ya. Ya hemos conseguido mucha sangre, venga, va. Esquiva. Buah. Buah. El esquivado, qué falta de juego, de verdad. No paran de interrogarme, de verdad, tío. Hijo de puta. Esquiva, esquiva. Esquiva. Que me mata. Que me mata al final el mamón este. No. Buen tiro. Bueno, buena hachazo, mejor dicho. No, me saltaba, tío, y no me da cuenta. No, que mata. No, que... ¿Cómo? No, no, tío, no. No puede ser. No, tío. ¿Cuánto bien me...? Joder. Claro, encima yo no puedo descansar porque si no al ciudadano ese lo matan, tío. No, tío, voy... Ataque, nos vamos. Ataque, nos vamos. A ver. Bueno, menos mal que saltos lo he hecho mal, menos mal. Sí, ya te conozco, hijo de puta. Ya lo tengo. Ya le tengo. Es un hijo de puta. Siempre va por la espalda el cabrón. ¿Lo ves? Siempre va por la espalda. Es un hijo de puta, tú. Nada, tío. Voy a ver si puedo conseguir... Nah, no puedo ver la cámara de atrás. Fuck. Fuck, tío. Madre mía, tío. No, no, es que yo primero he ido a un sitio para mejorarme, pero la cosa está difícil. A ver. Vale. Muerde, muerde, muerde. Si ya te conozco yo, hijo puta. Ponte la cámara de atrás siempre inútil. ¿Lo ves? Es que siempre cámara trasera, siempre cámara trasera. ¡Muerde! No, más alto el hijo puta. Bueno. Da igual. Tengo sangre, da igual. Pero dale. Eso es. No, la cámara de atrás, inútil. La cámara de atrás. ¿Cómo te conozco, hijo puta? Muerte, hombre. Vale. No. ¿Cómo? Mira, este será el último intento, tú. Último intento. ¿Qué coño ha pasado ahí, tú? Nah, tío, toma por culo. Toma por culo. Nada, tío, qué rabia, tío. Buah. Vamos a dar vueltas. No, aquí no se puede guardar, vale, bien. Dando vueltas sin parar, dando vueltas sin parar. Dando vueltas sin parar. A ver. Vale, falta un poco. Vale, bien. Pues nada, mis vikingos. Esto ha sido todo por hoy. Espero que os haya gustado. Y nos vemos en el Valhalla. Adiós, vikingos. Adiós.